Hello everyone, my name is Azmin MK and welcome again to FPL Sleepy Jedi. So we're in the midst of Game Week 13 and as if you recall in my previous video, we had just started Game Week 13, we had 1 day with 2 days left to go. So now 2 days have gone, so what's happened to my team? And the answer to you, nothing much. Okay, let's take a look. So this is my team, and I scored only 39 points, which is actually below the average, the game week average of 42 points, which just shows how pathetic my team actually performed. So nothing much happened. Barnes finally started, and of course, Leicester were rubbish. I actually had a bad feeling about it the moment I saw Everton had again bench Pickford, which for me just greatly enhances the chances of a clean sheet. And you know what? They kept a clean sheet. All right, so bygones be bygones. It's time for the Barnes experiment to end, and it's time for him to go. With Barnes even failing to make the most of his chance, yeah, I would say he remains a huge starting risk, and especially when considering other players have better form in the Premier League, such as Madison and even Perez has been doing decently. Barnes remains a huge starting risk, and that's it for me. All right, other big part of my team. Did I break Fernandes? Okay, so as you know, Bruno Fernandes has been doing well. He's owned by a large percentage of teams, and I hadn't owned him since the start of the season, and I finally got him in for game week 13. I had two free transfers, and one of my transfers to bring him in. So, of course, what happens? He blanks for the first time ever away from home. When I say ever, since he joined Manchester United, apparently he had yet to blank ever since for any matches away from home. So there were blanks at home, but not away from home. And the irony is that when I went into Thursday night matches, because my captain was KDB, who only scored 8 points, as you can see, I only had Fernandes left, and as a result, I was actually hoping that Fernandes would not do well, because I was sure that if Fernandes did well, those who captained him would cause my rank to plummet even further. Any output I felt that would surely result in a drop in my rank. And you know what? He didn't score at all. So obviously Fernandez will be a long-term investment, So but still, nothing happened. Nothing happened for me this week. So looking at it, I don't want to go too far about it. Okay, I also wanted to just briefly mention the Southampton Arsenal match. So as you can see, I played all my three Southampton players, and of course, Arsenal finally decided to score. Well, if anything, what this has taught me is that, okay, fine, against the bigger teams, maybe it's not such a good thing to double up in defense because ultimately, they may just score. Because if you take a look at my bench, okay, you'll take a look at my bench and I have Martinez, who was playing Burnley. The thing is, I thought Burnley were in better form than Arsenal, but at the end of the day, Burnley, they don't really score that well. So it should have been a better shot at putting Martinez in than McCarthy. So again, another failed gamble on my part. And annoyingly, you notice down there, Kufel from West Ham also had an assist with 3 bonus points to boot. And again, he's on my bench. So if, for example, if I had chosen not to play my Southampton goalkeeper and defenders, I would have put those two in. But such was not to be, and such is fantasy football. So I don't want to go too much about it. Okay. So that's it. So my two transfers, nothing happened. Cavallero and Fernandez, but and what happened to my rank? Dropped. It just dropped again. It went from this to this. So I dropped further, and now it currently stands at 2.2 million, which is very far off than where I want to be. But hopefully, this will be the lowest I can get, and hopefully the only way to go is up. So what am I planning to do? What's next for Game Week 14? Now, Game Week 14 is, starts tomorrow. So although we just ended Game Week 13 today, firstly, I mentioned earlier, it's time for me to get rid of Barnes. So who do I get him for? Well, judging from if I wanted a Liverpool player in form, then it would have been Barnes to Salah. Okay, so all I'm doing here right now is aligning my team to be more template, more common, because let's face it, I just need to cut down on my differentials. So last week's move to Fernandez was one of those moves. So this will be another. So to move some of my unusual picks to more conservative picks. I know, Barnes to Salah, that means I had a ton of cash lying around, but there you go. It's a risk, and these risks just didn't pay off for me previously. At the same time, I'm also looking at Brighton's defense, and I feel there's some improvement there, especially now that Sanchez has displaced Ryan as the first choice keeper. Now, I don't, I have, as you can see, I have Martinez and McCarthy, so I'm not looking to use a transfer on a keeper. I just feel it's a waste. So it would have to be a defender. And I'm actually torn between Lamptey and Dunk. Okay, Dunk, for those of you who followed me last season, he's an old favorite of mine. I do like his ability to score from headers, and once in a while he takes those free kicks. At the same time, Lamptey is a lot more explosive, but he comes with that extra element of risk. You know, he seems to be a bit more hot tempered and gets sent off wrongly. Okay, so yes, maybe it's slightly under differential, but at the price I'm paying, it's not too bad. So who do I get rid of to bring in a Brighton defender in? Well, actually, I'm looking at KWP. So Walker Peters here, because if you notice, I already have three Southampton players, and it was a bit tough for me because at one part I was looking to bring James Ward-Prowse in, and I couldn't, you know, and now even Danny Ings has come back, so it's a bit tough because I also have Adams. I need to find funds, so I thought I'm just going to free up and keep my Southampton keeper, but get rid of the defender and probably bring a Brighton defender in. Is that going to happen? Of course, I'm not going to do any transfers now. There's still some time because we still need to look at injury news, and something that is more important than ever this season is that we just have to wait because we never know who's going to fail to turn up. For examples of people who suddenly turned up injured were like Diego Jota, Wilfred Zaha. You suddenly find them that they've been infected, unfortunately, with COVID, or worse, have an injury that the manager just failed to tell us about. So, which always happens, and so it's better to just wait until we know for sure. So, what other things do I need to address in my fantasy football team? First, of course, is the bench. Who do I bench? Okay, now obviously Ryan Brewster, I've given up on him. He'll just stick there until Chris Wilder finally decides to start him and he actually scores. But otherwise, I need to plan a route to get him out, whether it's through a eventual wild card, in which case he'll be stuck until at least January, or through some method. Because at the end of the day, the problem with Ryan Brewster is he's only 4.5 points, 4.5 is price, yeah, 4.5 million. So that's going to be tough to actually move him considering there's no other real starting striker at that cost, and he's not one either. All right, so that's Brewster. But for the other two spots, okay, now look at Chelsea. The thing is, West Ham face Chelsea, and I have two West Ham players. Now, normally I would immediately put him on the bench, but a statistic has come out that Chelsea have totally failed to win any match against the top 10 in the Premier League since the start of the season. Okay, a quick check. Where are West Ham now? Surprise, surprise, magically they're at number 8. So I'm, I'm really, really tempted to have both Kufel and Susek in because they just might have a result. And Kufel, as you can see, what happened in the last game week, he did return an assist, so he is capable of that, even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet. Susek, as we know, he's one of my favorite differentials because he has done well for me ever since I brought him in. Okay, and finally, Walker Peters, as I mentioned, I may actually replace him for a Brighton defender. Whereas Konsa, even though he's injured and he didn't play last week, but I'll probably keep him in. Finally, the last bit is who do I captain? And that's a tough one. Can KDB perform against Southampton, or do you go with the safe pick in Fernandes against Leeds United? Now, to be safe, the safe play will be Fernandes. So currently, that's where it is now. Whether that will change, we'll have to see. Let's see how we go. Okay, well, look at he did blank in the last in game week 13, but of course Manchester United had won the game, so that and Leeds United are capable of being torn apart if because they just like to attack. So and defensively it does leave some holes at the back. All right, so that's it. So that's it for my team. All the best for you. How are you guys doing? Hope you had a better performance for game week 13. Well, I'm looking to get back into at least the top 2 million for Game Week 14. So that's my first objective. So small moves, small moves. It's just been a long time since my team looked respectable. So that's all I want to do for now. Try to get back into the top 2 million and work my way from there. All right. So how's your teams doing? Hope you guys have finalized your plan. Of course, again, my advice again, wait for that injury news to come in. Try to get as much injury news as possible before you start making those moves. Don't worry so much about those price changes. Seriously. Okay. All the best. Good luck for Game Week 14, and I'll see you after. Bye.